So, barrel or nah coming at you. Hustle culture.
Are we talking like Deerdick, Rob Deerdick? I get up at 4 a.m. so I can get my hustle on and then hustle, hustle, hustle all the way till hustle, respect my hustle, hustle, hustle.
I think yes, we that's exactly what we're talking about. And I've had this thought recently because I feel like I have hustle culture in my DNA. Like I just wake up with it. But man, I don't think it's the way of the world. I think we need
No.
time for rest.
I mean, the thing here is like hustle culture and what Rob Deerdick is doing, I'm sure is working for Rob Deerdick, obviously. Uh, but the people trying to emulate hustle culture is really spin your wheels culture because you're sitting there
Thank you.
in neutral, slamming that gas pedal. Uh, and yeah, like nothing, your engine's revving hot, but nothing is, no more is getting done than if
Yeah.
you were like, woke up and said, okay, I got to go to work. I'm just going to do my work. I'm not going to consider it a hustle. I'm not going to give or provide a mental framework around how my work and my life is all about the work and da 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 da. Like you're all you're doing is wasting mental energy of putting your already whatever life into a package of hustle.
Because not everybody was built for it. We're all built differently. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, but I feel like the Rob Deerdick, clearly a hustler. But there's so many other people. Like this is the way of the current generation is to aspire to be that and aspire to do that. And it's actually, you'll probably be shamed if your goal in life is to work a 9 to 5 and make a moderate wage and, not want more.
Where's your
Like,
hustle?
yeah, exactly. They'll be like, why don't you have a side gig? Well, what are you doing in the morning? Are you working out? Are you going to the gym? Are you like, are you
Except
filling every moment of your day with productivity?
anything and everything like this. And this is a great tool to live by for our dear listeners, brought to you by VayerWatches.com/surf. Is it? Oh, sorry. It's Vayer. What is it? VAER
It is Vayer Watches,
dot
but
com.
VayerWatches.com. Yeah.
Okay. VAERwatches.com. Get your Vaer watch along with your drinkag1.com/surf. It'll help you live that hustle life. But here is your tool to live by. Anything that trends is shit.
Mm.
If the word hustle now and a hustle lifestyle, and people are writing books or doing podcasts or opening up the hustle life, anytime, and I'm saying anytime, any trend is shit. So be it a weight loss trend, be it a work from home trend, be it anything that's trending, that is so trending that it's getting a hashtag, pivot hard 180 from that, and you will be doing the right thing.
I like
So
it.
hustle culture is bullshit. It is just, yeah, exactly your point. For some people, waking up and having four different kinds of things they're doing and a bunch of side hustles and your main hustle and your hustle and your da da da. That's fun, enjoyable for them. And that's the way they work. That is not for everybody. That is for that person. And anybody else trying to do hustle life, living that hustle life, that's not the life for you. Go figure out the actual thing that where you are at your best.
And don't feel guilty or shame about being a couch potato if that is your personal, you know what I mean? Like, let's
Just
normalize being okay with doing what is comfortable
whatever.
for you. Yeah.
Hold and just hold back too, because there's going to be any of these hustle trends, anything that trends also falls out of style. And you
Mhm.
can then sit back and make fun of all the people that were on that hustle life when you're out at your next dinner party. Once hustle is no longer the cool thing to do. And you could say, remember all your hustles? Remember when you had your Etsy business and your podcast and your,
Multi-level marketing scheme.
multi-level marketing thing, and you were also working and you had no time and all of them failed. Remember
Yeah.
that? Yeah, I
Yeah,
never did
exactly.
that.
And then the one person who's like, no, I just went to work and
Yeah,
watched Netflix,
yeah. I
walked my dog,
surfed some,
and I was happy.
doing air reverses.
I had no anxiety. And I
Yep,
landed that air reverse. Good. Yeah, I'm down for dismantling hustle culture. We're
yep.
done with it. Okay, here comes one from a listener. Volume up.
A ladder,
Oops.
not necessarily a daily ladders. Barrel or nah, walking under a ladder, not necessarily a daily ladders or whatever the sponsorship was. Maybe a little giant, a DIY guy, putting up some gutters, listening to the show, walking under the ladder. Doesn't bother me one bit.
Interesting. Superstition.
Superstitions in general are fascinating, but let's focus specifically on the walking under a ladder. Here's the thing with superstitions. I think if like, whatever, if you're going out of your way to break superstitions just to prove that that all of this is hoo-ha, that none of it matters, to me, that's like, well, there's like uh the game there, you either lose or it's a, whatever, uh
Net
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 zero,
neutral.
net
Yeah.
neutral, precisely. Like these superstitions are real and you're, whatever, throwing salt at black cats and breaking mirrors and all the bad stuff, and you're just, tempting a greater power to say, well, I'm sorry about it, some of this stuff is real, so boom. If you are right and there's nothing, that's all of these things are just fake, then everything's the same and you just wasted time doing bad things. To the walking under a ladder thing, though, there is times and jobs and places where the best, safest, most convenient way around is under the ladder. And
Totally.
so whoever made this one a superstition was somebody, I think, just trying to dick with especially the hard blue collar slash home repair population. And I think everybody should actively walk under ladders just to make sure this thing is no longer stigmatized. Because again, it is oftentimes the best, easiest, most convenient way to move, safest.
Agreed. I don't understand how some of these things start. Like, I can imagine it was dangerous. Ladders weren't as steadfast as they are nowadays. And so, if there is construction going on and you walk under it and the ladder slips and falls, you get hit by it. But what they're saying is it's bad luck to walk under a ladder. They're not
Yes,
saying it's dangerous to
it's
walk under a
something
ladder.
bad might happen to you
They're saying
in
you're
that
going
moment.
to successfully pass under the ladder, but then
Get hit by a
something will
car.
befall you later, right? It's
Yeah.
like, what? How
Yeah.
does that even happen?
Weird. I'm all about normalizing. Like, let's take walking under ladders out of bad juju land and put
I
it
agree.
into this is just a normal thing that normal people sometimes have to do.
I agree. Walk under every ladder you see just to defy it.
I mean, I feel that we could, as a community, have enough of a movement where enough people do this, even if it was bad luck. The bad luck givers were gonna be, man, we don't have enough like cars to hit people on the street now. So let's just cancel this one. It's too much.
Agreed. Fly in the
Uh,
face of that bad luck.
exactly. Speaking of ladders, real quickly, did you read about the Bailey ladder promotion that the World Surf League is doing?
You know what? Somebody did screenshot the email and send it to me. I saw it.
So I wrote a Beach Crit story about it, of course. So Bailey ladders, the I mean, the fact that World Surf League's main, most vocal sponsor is a ladder sponsorship is, we don't even need to say anything more than that.
I know.
The World Surf League's, I'll just state it as a fact, the World Surf League's proudest, most prominent uh, partner is a regional Australian ladder company. We'll just leave that there. So the promotion is you buy $700 worth of Bailey ladders, and then you write into a website portal, I think, why you love your Bailey ladder. And you and three mates, it says, get flown to. So this is only for Australia, right? Like, I mean, Bailey ladders are not sold, as far as I know, outside of Australia. Uh, so you and your three Australian buddies get flown to Margaret River, get put up in an Airbnb. It's not even like we're putting you up in a resort. No, you get put up in an Airbnb. You get VIP tickets to the Margaret River competition in the tent, and you get, I think, $4,400 spending money
In Visa gift cards or
in a
whatever.
Visa gift card. Somebody from Australia wrote on Beach Crit under the story that he just bought a Bailey ladder. It cost him like $100 or something like that. He was thinking, who it would be virtually, unless you're a giant company or not,
Right.
unless you're a big construction company or something, buying ladders.
Yeah.
Who's going to buy $700 worth of ladders?
No.
Who in the world would buy, what individual would buy $700 worth of ladders?
In my life, I will not spend $700 on ladders.
Yeah. Like, what an arbitrary, weird thing to put
Well,
up.
the other thing here is you said if you do that, then you get the trip. No, you
No,
get
no, you get
entered to
to,
win.
you enter, which
Yeah.
somebody else said, how many people are actually going to do this? Like, how many people are going to buy $700? Like, your odds of winning are probably pretty good. If
Yeah.
you do buy $700 worth of ladders, promptly return them. But, because all you have to do is snapshot the receipt. It's not like,
Yeah.
let us see you using your $700 worth of ladders. Uh, Buy them, return them very, instantly. Keep the receipt, upload the receipt, write why you love Bailey ladders, and you're probably in a fairly small pool of people doing this. So Australians, take note. You heard it here. And if you're Australian listener and you do this and you win, please share about it. You will be featured heavily on the episode of the grit that follows the Margaret River contest.
Yep. I agree. Game the system. You put in $700, you get 4,400 back
It's worth it.
and the experience.
Yeah, and you don't even have to take the experience. It'd be totally worth the who wants to go
44.
to, yeah, just take the turn $700 into 4,400 like that. This
Yep.
seems like a real, the odds on this again are pretty good, I would say.
Pretty good. There's your drinkag1.com/surf working for you right there.
Yep. Hustle life.
Spinning those great ideas.
Live that hustle ladder life.
And walk under the Bailey ladders when you buy them too.
Every one of them.
Exactly. Okay. Final barrel and all comes from a listener. It says DLS. I was having dinner last weekend at a nice restaurant with my wife and younger son when something happened that made me pause and then later mull over the incident and its meaning. I was cutting into my nicely roasted chicken when I heard the distinct sound of flatware hitting the polished cement floor. My 12-year-old son reflexively began to reach towards the floor for the knife that he had just dropped. I cut him short. Just leave it, I said. He looked at me, and I suddenly felt uncertain in my heart. His instincts were correct, I thought. Good kid. Nevertheless, these instincts should be overridden for the sake of hygiene and maybe also decorum. This may also go to the heart of something bigger. Regardless, after it happened, I thought, I know exactly who needs to weigh in on this important matter. DOC is the signature.
Great. He's right. And so I'm assuming the barrel or nah is eating with flatware / silverware that has fallen onto the floor.
That's what I am assuming as well.
Okay. I'm going to say here a barrel, David Lee Scales. I'm going to say, in general, we modern humans, we modern first world creatures, most people listening here, I would think are of that varietal. Our lives are way too sanitized. Between the amount of hand sanitizer itself that people are using, like this whole post-COVID thing about spraying everything down with antibacterial, this, that, and the other thing, I'm going to say you are doing no one a favor by keeping ultra clean. Any bits, and if you're doing this on purpose, that's, it's like hustle life. That's too much to think about. But anytime you can get a little extra something in the system, does your body good, man. Your kid, that knife got nothing on it, let's be honest, or got maybe a little bit of dog poo from the shoe.
It got something on it, but nothing that will kill you.
A little bit. And if we learned anything from the original idea of vaccines, it is, hey, let's give a little bit of poison and let the body do the rest, right?
Exactly.
You are giving that boy a little bit of poison, body's going to do the rest. That boy is going to grow up strong.
Yep.
If and when all of this ends, the apocalypse arrives and we're all drinking out of mud puddles. Your boy's going to be drinking out of that mud puddle just fine. You, on the other hand, tell him to leave it on the ground, are going to get cholera and die.
I completely agree. The only time I ever don't use, or even eat something that a piece of food that fell on the floor is out of a social norm.
Yeah.
I'm in a restaurant and other people saw it happen, and I'm just
Ex-
like, I don't want to look like a weirdo, so I'm just gonna not use it.
Totally.
But if I am by myself, I will literally, like a crow could try to steal the piece of popcorn I dropped. I will fight that crow, take it out
Pop
of
it in the
his
mouth.
mouth, and put it back in my mouth.
I totally agree entirely. The one thing I will recommend uh, is if the knife had not been used yet, like if it's not greasy or or the fork or whatever, a good habit to get into is giving it a quick wipe on your t-shirt before then diving back in. That's like all you need right there. A
I'm
little
not opposed to that. Not as if your
wipe on the
t-shirt's
t-shirt,
any cleaner though.
back in.
Yeah, your t-shirt that you don't wash every time
No,
you wear is probably not
precisely,
much cleaner, but
precisely. But
yeah,
again, healthy future.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. This is just practical,
You are
practical and
exactly right. Every time, if I'm at home, fork on the ground, oh, grab it, pick it up, start eating again. If I'm at a restaurant, fork on the ground,
yeah,
everybody at this
exactly.
table is going to think I'm a weirdo.
I know. And that's a whole different line of discussion that we can incorporate into future
Yep,
shows. Is just like all the weird stuff we do simply because we
it's the
think somebody
social thing
might
to
be
do.
watching. And
Imagine,
to be perfectly honest, nobody would care. Nobody's watching that closely and nobody would care. If I saw another table drop a fork and then pick it up and use it again, I would actually be like, huh,
cool. I would think that too,
badass.
but there would be so many tables in there would be looking like that subtle observation. I totally hear you. In life, we all think that everybody's watching and everybody's caring. You are exactly right that A, nobody's watching, B, nobody cares,
No.
except it's like it's that kind of thing of picking a knife up or a fork up off the floor and using it in a restaurant where that's what people get somehow their social spidey sense up. They're like, ooh, look at that person. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody who's got
But
nothing better to do.
we should band together though. Us like floor fork eaters should band together and have each other's backs. Like if we see that in a restaurant happening, somebody drops fork, picks it up, eats, we should applaud. You
Agreed.
go. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't cancel that person that ate off the ground. We
Nope.
stand in solidarity.
Solidarity.
Exactly. Dust some AG1 on it, brush
Pop
it
it right
off. You're
in.
good. You're good to go.